Okay, so hello and welcome, everyone. So as usual, hello guys, great to have you here. Again, my name is Orlando Delgado Mata, and I'm the Director of Teacher Training Operations for International House University by IH Mexico, or by the IH Mexico group, I must say, right? Because now, under the current circumstances that we're working online, we are also reaching out to different countries, right? And we are actually running operations in different countries, like Panama, Costa Rica, Colombia, Peru, you name it, like so many different places. So anyway, so great to have you here today. Hi, Marina, great to see you in the chat. Fantastic. So great to see you guys once again. We're reaching the end of the month, right? And we are tomorrow we are celebrating Children's Day, right? Like that. Tomorrow we are celebrating Dia del Niño, and I don't know about you guys, but I sometimes feel like a kid. I sometimes do feel like a kid still. However long my beard is, sometimes I do still have my inner child. And because we're rapidly approaching Children's Days, right? Today we're talking about, and also in the next webinar that we have for May, we're going to start thinking about playing games and doing engaging activities with our learners in the classroom. So today we have a special guest here today who hasn't been with us for quite some time now, but it's great to have her back. She's Ana Rosa Vargas, and Ana Rosa Vargas. I'm 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 super proud, to say that she's been with the International House family for quite a good number of years now. Can I say, I don't know, Ana Rosa, but can I say, I mean, longer than a decade? Of course, you've been with us, I guess.
Yes.
I think so, right?
Yes. 12
Absolutely.
years, I think, to be exact.
How long?
12.
12 years. There we go, right? So 12 years. So it's quite a long time. And Ana Rosa, some of you might know her from Guadalajara, because she's based in ever so lovely, hot Guadalajara. She's so many things. She's responsible for basically exams and all of the management over there, in Guadalajara, in that our central venue in Guadalajara. She's also one of our key members on staff for the teacher training department at International House University, running CELTA courses, CELT-A, CELT-P courses, CAM courses. She was also a Delta local tutor, quite some time ago. So she's so many things, and she's so lovely to work with. So she's going to be our guest speaker today, and she's going to be talking about, like I said, something that we want to start doing, today, and then for the next month, is talk about engaging activities, and activities that you could even try with your children now that we're heading towards Children's Day tomorrow. So she's going to tell you a bit more about jigsaw activities. And as usual, she's going to give you wonderful ideas of things that you could try with your learners' jigsaw activities. And if you have any questions as she goes through what she has prepared for you today, remember there is a Q&A section, questions and answer section right here at the bottom. So you could only go there and write your Q&A section. She'll also be, every now and then be reading the chat, but, because she's going to be focusing on the presentation also, make sure that you have any really good questions that you want her to answer, then go to the Q&As, okay? So thank you very much, guys, for being here. Thank you, Ana Rosa, and the floor is yours, okay?
Thank you, Orlando. Okay, so let me just share my screen so I can start. Wonderful. So good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Ana Rosa Vargas, and I'm Director of International House Guadalajara, among other things. Okay, very happy to be with you today. And I love this topic. I really enjoy doing jigsaw activities, and I've really done them for, I think, since 1979. So most of you hadn't been born, but they are still on fashion. So more than welcome, and let's get started. So jigsaw activities. First of all, what's a jigsaw? You know that this is a jigsaw, so that means pieces of something that when you put them together, they make sense. But also, this is jigsaw. Somebody has half of the information and somebody has the other half. Or questions without answers are also jigsaw activities. That means that somebody has some information and somebody else has the other part of the information. So let me give you more ideas. So what are jigsaw activities? Jigsaw activities are specific type of information gap activity that work best when used with the whole class. What's an information gap activity, you may say? Well, an information gap activity is an activity where learners, as I mentioned before, where learners are missing the information they need to complete a task, and they need to talk to each other to find it. And this is very important because this reflects real life. Whenever we don't know something, what do? We ask somebody who knows about it. Okay, so that means that we are doing an information gap activity. Or sometimes we don't know something and we go to a place where we can find the information. In other words, Mr. Google, for example, a book, okay, or somewhere else. So that means that we have part of the information and we need the other part. So all these information gap activities can go from, they can be as simple as asking a personal question, an inquiry, or something more complex to complete the question or the information. For example, what time is it? It's an information gap because somebody has the answer. If you ask a question, it's because you don't know the answer. Because it's not logical to say, what's my name? Oh, yes, my name is Ana Rosa. I mean, that's illogical. You ask yourself a question if you know the answer only when you want to be sure. But regularly, we ask questions when we don't know the answers and we expect somebody else to have the information. Or, as I said before, we can go to a place or to a tool to find the information. So, what time is it? Could be from person to person, asking another person, but it could be, let me just look at my cell phone or look at my clock or watch. Okay. And then how can I get to blah, blah, blah? Let's say you are a tourist in a city or in your same city, but you don't know, then how can I get to a certain place, to the bank, to the museum, to a certain church? And somebody else will give you the information. That is, in general, the idea of an information gap. But there are different challenges, different degrees of information gaps, and jigsaw activities. So let's have a look at some examples. Okay, for example, this one. Let's start with this one. This is a jigsaw activity, and it's an information gap. Why? Because somebody has Tom's information. Maybe student A will have Tom's food, but student B doesn't have Tom's food. Therefore, in pairs, they are forced to ask each other questions to complete the information in the chart. This is originally designed to have questions in the past, like what did Tom eat? What did Tom drink? And but you can use it with simple present. You can use it with what's Tom's favorite food? okay? Or WH questions. What does he eat? What is he eating at the moment? What's his favorite food? So you can adapt it to different levels of language. So in other words, if you put students in a pair, one student will be A and another student will be B. So student A knows what Tom eats, but he doesn't know, that student doesn't know what Tom drinks. But student B has the answer. So student A needs to ask the question to student B. What does Tom drink? And then student B will give the answer and he will complete. And then now student B asks the question about the food and student A will answer. This is interaction in a more natural way, okay? If you don't have the answer, you ask a question rather than if you have the answer, what is the point of saying, what does Tom eat? If you already know that it's, that the food is here, okay? So that is the idea of a jigsaw activity or an information gap. Now, what is this? This is, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. This is for a fortune teller. And the fortune teller knows some information about Sam. She doesn't know information about Sam, and this is something she knows about Sam. But let's see. This is affirmative for using will prediction. Like Jenny will go to university, but Sam won't get married. Okay, according to this. So you have affirmative sentences, negative sentences, but you can also ask questions. Will Jenny get married? And then this person will give the answer, yes, she will. Okay, and that will give students not only practice in making questions and answers, but also in having something more natural and developing listening skills as well. Can you hear me? I hope so.
Yeah, so good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so let's continue. Now, so this is like the basis for jigsaw activities, though they are not the only ones. Now my PowerPoint doesn't want to continue. Let me stop share and share again. Let me see if it works now. Something happened which hadn't happened before. And now I can't.
I think you, oh, there you go. You're back, Rosa. Yep.
Yeah, let me stop share to see if it obeys. But as you can see, it's moving and moving. And it's the first time my PowerPoint does this. Let's see if it works better now. Yeah, okay. No. And I don't know why I'm stuck. So I'm going to stop share again. My internet is fine, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I think it's just an issue with the
With the PowerPoint?
yeah, I think so with Office, and I think it might have just your PowerPoint might have just crashed a little bit. So you will just need to like close the PowerPoint and then restart it.
I want to stop share to stop and open it again. I think it's just a matter of a little bit of time. Let me see if I can close it.
Yeah, don't worry, that's fine. These are the kind of thing that sometimes guys.
Yeah,
things happen.
And that's why I like PowerPoint, because I think it's one of those when I have links, they don't open. Yes. So let's see.
Absolutely.
In the meantime, I can continue talking if my mouse
There we go. Yeah.
obeys me. Yeah, I think so. But the mouse doesn't want to move. Is there another way I can do? Yeah. Okay, now. Or something. So, well, going back to these information gap activities, you can do it with very simple things or very, very complicated. You can use pictures, you can use just words, you can use a variety of information, all structures. Going to the supermarket, like for example, how much is this and how much are they, for countables and uncountables, for a wide variety of possibilities. Let me see if I can open this again. So I'm going to close what I have. It's very weird what is happening. But can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can definitely.
Okay, yeah, I went back to the PowerPoint to open it again to see if it works now. There's something wrong, and I'm not sure if it's the
I think it might have been your computer, because you froze.
yeah, I think so. So
you want to restart, reboot the computer, and then we'll see you in
yes.
a couple of minutes. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So don't worry, guys.
I can open another laptop.
Fantastic.
And this is supposed to be a few months old.
Don't worry. That's
okay. So I'm going to use another one. Okay, I'll log in.
Sure. Yeah, and let's give Ana Rosa some minutes, guys. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, guys. So we're just going to give Ana Rosa a couple of minutes. You know what technology is like sometimes, right? So, yeah, Ana Rosa just went to get a second computer just to make sure that we can follow the talk. Maybe you could go to the chat and tell us if this has ever happened to you guys. Like, have you been in the middle of a class when suddenly things freeze, right? Like maybe you can, yeah, Ingo is saying, yes, it's happened before. Absolutely, right? Yeah, I mean, these kind of things happen sometimes, right? Absolutely. So, but you know what it's like. So we have a plan B. So we're gonna bring in Rosa just in a couple of minutes, so so that she can continue the webinar, right? Ingo is saying that it's awful, and you had a panic attack, Ingo. Yes, absolutely. It's happening for it's like Murphy's law, right? When like it's like one or two things, like or more things, like they just like coincide, and everything happens at the worst possible, moment, right? That's kind of, I guess that's life, that's how we rolls, in a way. Absolutely. Um, Mariana, yeah, it happened. It's like awful for us. And Mariana is saying the chat that kids love those moments, right? Absolutely. I've seen, girl, I don't know about you, but like I've been seeing so many videos of like people struggling, with like technology for for quite some time, and then all of these
No
like
encuentro el enchufe,
different
hija.
things, all of these different things that are happening, like in videos, etc., and then going viral, with like TikTok and YouTube, right? So absolutely. Somebody saying if your PC doesn't freeze, that's right. If the PC doesn't freeze and the electricity goes out, or the dogs start barking, absolutely right. That's always what happens, right? And Dory saying, I perfectly understand. I have a 1-year-old baby. So, imagine the classes,
Por
right?
favor.
But what's happening nowadays, guys. Like the thing about nowadays is, um the thing about what's happening nowadays is that, like, with all of these like online classes and technologies, when we're giving classes, we get to see a little bit of whoever is giving the class, right? Like they're, I always say, like, we like, if we are giving a class online, we are entering that person's home, right? It's like right now, like now you get to see like my home office, and you get to see like my books, like top shelf, and the background. I have my dogs, my chihuahuas, here next to me. So I always say, now, okay, so we need to consider that we are entering somebody else's house, right? Like somebody else's home. That's like in this case, like, Ana Rosa, myself, the teacher, with your students, right? So, but at the same time, I think that has brought forward this new kind of like online report, online rapport, because now what we're doing is we get to see a little bit of who is in front of us, right? So it's in the past, like we used to be in the classroom, right? Like in the face-to-face classroom, and it was like the student meeting the teacher in this strange place, right, in the classroom. But nowadays, it's going to their home, right? So it's quite an interesting dynamic. But this is meant to happen, with technology, I guess, right? Absolutely. So let me, I just sent Ana Rosa to the waiting room so that she could like come back. Let me just see um, if she's ready. So, okay, all right. So she's gonna let us know when she's ready, right? In the meantime, do you have any plans for tomorrow, for Children's Day? Does anybody have any plan for classes, maybe, or for
Okay.
to separate? Oh, I think Ana Rosa is back. Are you back? Maybe Ana Rosa is back. I just heard her. So let me see if she's back.
I am here now. Yeah.
Are you here? Fantastic. So
But
I'm going.
the echo, because I can't log out from the other one.
Will you log out? Yeah, there is some echoing.
Yeah, but I can't because my other laptop is frozen. So maybe you can
I don't know,
block me.
You'll need to turn the other off. You'll need to turn it off.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me
Let
turn
me
it
turn
off.
it off.
I'm hoping the laptop obeys. Is it better now?
Can you speak? I think you're muted, Ana Rosa. Can you try now, Ana Rosa? We can't hear you, Ana Rosa. You're muted. Okay, so she's back in the session, but she cannot speak. So, I'm just going to quote you on that, Xiomara, right? Like if it's a PC that freezes, then, if it's not.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, yes. I had to turn off the other one because now it's black. So something happened to the laptop.
Yeah, I really hope you can get back on at some point. Laptops are expensive machines.
I know, and it's been with me only a few months. But
I
anyway.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Don't worry. Maybe.
So teachers, this is something that happens.
I know. Everybody was very understanding. There's somebody in the background with a baby, and she said, "Yes, this happens when I teach classes with the 1-year-olds." They do understand, absolutely.
Okay, yeah. So are you going to project? I already sent you the PowerPoint, or do you want me to project it?
Oh, you could, if you have it, you could project it. Absolutely.
Okay, fine.
Fantastic, awesome. So I'm gonna go to the background, and I'm gonna let you take over.
Yes,
okay.
Let's continue.
Yeah, and thank you for staying with us, guys.
I hope now everything works. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud.
Okay,
we can
then no problem. So we were here.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, that was the last one we saw. Okay, so after these examples, this is next, okay? So the jigsaw, we continue with jigsaw activities. So just a brief explanation, and then I will continue giving you examples. The class is first divided into groups of 4 to 6 learners. However, this varies. Different people give different ideas. I do it from 2 to 10. So it's up to you, who are then given some information on a particular aspect of a topic, which they then become their experts in. And I'm going to explain in a minute. The class is then reorganized into different groups, like jigsaw groups of 4 to 6 learners, so that each learner in the new group is from a different expert group. And then they share the information. Okay, so let me share something. So I'm going to share the other one first, this one. So for example, the pre-task, you organize the groups and you divide students or groups into 3. It could be 3 groups of 10, 3 groups of 6, 3 groups of 4, but 3 groups. And each group will have a different task. Maybe one group will have photos. Maybe another group will have a reading. Maybe another group will have questions. But then you put them together as a team. Then you said, okay, all A students will have the same task. All B students the same task, and all C students the same task. And then once they know what they have to do, you put them together by tasks. So the students who have let's say the photos will be together. The students who have the reading will be together. The students who have the audio, the questions will be together. Then each one will have a task. When they finish doing the task, they go back to their original teams and compare and produce something, now completing everything, completing a task with the pieces of information they had. So it looks like a bit complicated, but it's not. And let me give you an example, a very simple example, okay? So it's like working on a task or a project, but each group is in charge of a skill or an aspect of a task. So for example, writing a biography. Maybe this is your task. So one group can be in charge of gathering information about a person. Maybe the place of birth, childhood, studies, parents, you know, biography information. Then another group can make a list of the person's work. Like maybe if the person is a writer, what books he has or she has written, the films, if they are actors, the music, the art, discoveries, or some kind of activities, aspects they have accomplished. Then one more group can collect photos about this person, about the person they choose or they are given. Then you have your three groups now with different pieces of information and different tasks, okay? Why different tasks? Maybe this group is very good, very visual. So, and their grammar is quite strong. And maybe they have sufficient language to complete the information about the person. Maybe this group is more internet kind of person, so they can go and search for the kind of books, films, etc. Maybe these ones are more kinesthetic, and they are going to put the photos and they are going to organize everything, and they don't need to be strong learners to do this task, but everybody has a job to do. Then new groups are formed, having a member from each team to share what they have. As a new team, then they can produce several tasks. For example, maybe at the end, they can produce a poster about the celebrity they chose, the person, which is something simple, maybe for elementary students. Or they can produce a PowerPoint presentation, and then they can explain, and the three people in the teams are involved and they can present everything. Obviously, the student with more skills in the speaking part will talk more, but the others can also help. Or they can prepare a documentary if the level of English is quite good, more upper intermediate, for example. Or maybe a poster if they are in elementary school, let's say in lower primary. A PowerPoint presentation, any grade of elementary school, but a documentary, it's for older children or adolescents, okay? Older students. But you never know. I've seen wonderful things made by teachers, okay? So this is more or less the idea. But then we have another type, which is what I use because it's much simpler, okay? So let's say, so you have, again, the same biography. So three, let's say one group in charge of the information. Yeah, I usually had 30 students in a classroom. So let's say 10 students will be in charge of looking for the information. 10 students will be in charge of finding out about the work of the celebrity. And 10 children, or I mean 10 members will be in charge of dealing with the photos. And then when you put them together, instead of 10 here, you will divide those 10 into different ones. So that means instead of having 3 groups of 10, now you will have 10 groups of 3. And in each group, you will have a different member. So they are going to put together the information. And as I said before, maybe present a poster, a documentary, a PowerPoint presentation, a complete biography, commercial, then prepare an interview, whatever you want, depending on the level of the students and depending on the age of the students. Okay, this is what you do. Now, something else you can do. Let's say you have 10 groups of 3 here. But you know, as with all the classes, we have very strong students and we have weak students and we have regular average students. So maybe you can have a combination when you make these groups, because remember, you know your students. So you know who works best in which group, who is going to help other students. You can have 3 strong students and you can have 3 weak students, and wait for surprises, because sometimes you may think that 3 weak students won't be able to produce anything, and they are. Or you can have a mixture of average, weak, and strong, okay? So these are some of the ideas to organize the groups. So depending on how many students you have, how big your class is. So for example, it's cooperation, learning activities. So you divide the students into groups. These groups are called home teams or home groups. You can call them any name, okay? Divide topics. Could be a text or material into equal parts, assigning 1 part per student. That means according to the teams. Then students read, glean key ideas, and become familiar with the topic. Sometimes they don't read. Sometimes they watch a video. Sometimes they listen to an audio, okay? Students meet with their expert group, who are other students from other groups who were assigned the same topic. Then students return to home team to teach others in the group about their topic. All students are then assessed on all the topics. Now, this is a very important part. Why? Because since you have different students, different levels, and different preferences, styles, then you can have rubrics to assess the students according to what they did. Not instead of assessing all the students in the same way. Not everybody is able to produce the same piece of language, the same task, or the same product. It depends on their abilities, levels, etc. Okay, so this is very important. Each one will be assessed according to what they do, but everybody is important in the team, because without one of them, the project is not complete. I think students feel like important. They feel they are able to do a lot of activities and they are able to contribute with something, instead of just somebody being in charge of everything, okay? So, okay, so the next one. This is an example. This is an example, what we called a jumbled story. This is a jumbled story. This is for children. For example, what do you have here? You have a jigsaw, okay? You have a jigsaw, black and white. Then you can give students, you can cut it up and give the students a piece so they can color it. Or you can color it, no problem. But students get pieces of the jigsaw. Something very important. Students are not able to see the picture. You need to cover the picture, and at the back, you write a sentence from the story. It doesn't matter if it's a well-known story or an invented story. But the idea is that they need to get together and put the story in order. That's why it's important not to have a look at the pictures, to cover the pictures with paper. Then on the other side, you have the sentence, one sentence from the story or a short paragraph. And then what happens with the students? Once they have this, okay, so then students get together and put the story together. Now you have different students. You can give each student one or give students 2 pictures. Then they go to their groups and they put it together just by reading the sentences, just by reading the paragraphs. And then they use some Scotch tape to put the pieces together so they don't move. So they put them together and turn it. And then tear the paper where you were covering the images. And if it makes sense, you can project the original jigsaw. If it makes sense, that means their answers are correct. But sometimes the answers are not correct. And a very, very quick way they can check to see if it's correct is just by looking at the pictures. If they are not in order, that means a part of a story is not complete. Okay. Let me see now. I don't know if there are questions because since I'm sharing, but I will have a look at the questions in a minute. Now, this is another one, quite simple, organizing a party. You can use this for elementary students, intermediate students, advanced students, children, adolescents, young adults. It doesn't matter who, because we all like parties, okay? So let's see, team 1, you divide it into 4 teams in this case. So team 1 can think of the place, including the pros and cons of having the party outdoors or indoors. And they need to discuss what they need for the place, okay? And is it better to have it in a park, in a garden, in a house, in a room? Okay, so they will decide. Then team 2 can be in charge of the kind of food and drinks. Are they going to have pizzas and Coca-Colas, or they are going to order Italian food? Is it going to have a buffet? Are people going to provide different dishes and drinks? They organize it. And then team 3 can make the list of guests and the kind of music. Is it better to have a DJ or live music? Okay. And then team 4 can be in charge of decorating the place, what to buy and how to decorate it. Okay, they need to think in terms of, they don't know whether it's outdoors or indoors, but they can be sure that maybe they are going to need balloons, maybe, I don't know, color paper, maybe flowers, maybe hearts. It depends on what they are doing, okay? Then, so you have your 4 teams that work together and they design their task. Then they mix the students, making sure there is one from each team. In the new team, they will share their ideas and write an invitation with all the details, including the date and time. So let's have a look in colors and numbers, how to organize the party. So this is with a group of 16, but you can have more students here. So this is one team of 4 in charge of choosing the place. Do you remember? Team 2 in charge of the food. Team 3, music and guests. And team 4, the decoration. Once they are ready, this is done very quickly, 10 minutes. Then you put one member of each team in one of the other teams. And then they put together all the information, and at the end, they design an invitation with all the details. We are going to have, it's going to be in this place, the address, the time, the date. We are going to have pizzas. We are going to have blah, blah, blah. There's going to be a DJ and whatever you decide, even piñatas, it doesn't matter what. So you organize it. If you have more students, well, you have then 4 groups of 5 or 4 groups of 6. And then in here, you put 5 or 6 people. So it depends on how many students you have and how you want to organize it. Students really enjoy it. And as I said before, it looks difficult, but it's not. It's just a matter of writing all your instructions. Students really enjoy it because they are not working with the same student all the time. Then they have a different opportunity to do a wide variety of, let's say, mini activities, and they are able to give opinions, etc. Okay, so now, you know what I'm doing? I'm opening the other one because now I'm scared. I want to have 2 at the same time, just in case something happens. Okay, then, so we have some ideas. Now, this is a simple jigsaw activity for elementary students to practice skills. Okay, very simple questions, very simple answers. So for example, give all students a form like the one below. Each student will fill in the form with their own information. I'll show you the form. Then you put them in pairs. Then students will ask questions to each other to complete another form. So they are going to have 2 forms, one for their personal information and another one for the other students' information. Then students will ask questions to each other to complete the form. And after that, they will write some sentences or a short paragraph with the information. Very simple, let's say, language. Then make groups of 4 and ask them to write a short description of the 4 classmates. If you want, you can continue making bigger groups until you have everybody's information to paste the whole information on the wall. For example, these are the forms. It's all about me. And very simple, because it says, okay, my name is, and then you write the name in a very, very simple way. Then there are, for example, 5 people in my family. And in here, I am 10 years old. And my favorite color is blah, blah, blah. My favorite animal is, I like, I don't like, I'm good at, I'm from blah, blah, blah. So when they put all the information together, it's going to be like this. So very simple questions that you can adapt depending on the level and age of the students. Okay, and then you have another one to integrate the 4 skills. Okay, it's a sample jigsaw activity with a group of 30 students, for example. And this is playing the detective. So a set of exams, this is the question, the issue. A set of exams disappeared from the director's office. Okay, a set of exams disappeared from the director's office. So you divide the group into 3 groups, 10 members in each group. Then you give each one a task. For example, team 1, an interview to prepare. During the interview, the students need to plan 5 questions to ask the suspects. Then team 2, they have a video or photos or some kind of evidence. Okay, remember schools have cameras. And team 3, there are the suspects. They are the suspects in team 3, and they need to prepare an alibi. They need to say, I was in the bathroom or in somebody's class, etc. So you make 10 teams of 3, 1 from each original team, and then you ask them to decide who the guilty one is based on the evidence. At the end, each team will write a report with their conclusions. Okay? They can also present it as a kind of short paragraph, as a kind of bulletin, as a kind of newspaper article, maybe talking. It doesn't matter how you decide, but it's to integrate the 4 skills. This way, students read, write, speak, and listen in a more natural way. Then, so you can divide the groups in general into preferences or styles. That could be the audials, the visuals, and the kinesthetic, or you can divide them according to levels. Some schools work by levels, but most schools have a little bit of everything. So maybe you can have the lower level students in one team, the average level in another one, and the more advanced students in another level. Or you can divide the groups in relation to socializing. This is very, very important. Socialization is very important, especially nowadays that we've been having classes online. Okay, so you said, okay, this student is shy and this doesn't know very much the other students. So put them together in a task. It's not a big problem because they are not going to work forever together. It's only 10, 15 minutes, and they have a chance to socialize and to work with different people. And then, for example, if you teach subjects, if you are a geography teacher, just to give an example, and you want your kids to learn about Great Britain, some pieces for the jigsaw might include some of all the following. Maybe demographics, which of course could be further divided into separate pieces. Natural resources, land and water forms, imports and exports, political climate, just to give you some ideas. Some students can draw, others can write, other students can design the questions, others can organize, then students present the work. But the idea with jigsaw activities is that everybody is going to contribute with something important to be able to complete a project or a task. Possible examples, possible ideas: solving a mystery, organizing a menu for a party, organizing a party, going on holiday, writing an article about an accident, opening a cafeteria at school, redesigning the classrooms or the school, getting a profile of the staff. I mean, you name it. Depending on your level in groups, you can do many things, okay? So let's see. I wanted to include something else. Yeah, now, so I'm going to have one here. Let's say. And we are going to have something that I had in my laptop, but I didn't have in here. And that is, so as with everything in life, okay, we have, no, it doesn't want to. So in the same one, let's continue. I'm going to have advantages and disadvantages. Oh. Advantages and disadvantages. Everything in life has pros and cons. So some of the advantages, and you are going to write more in the chat, but later on I will have a look, are jigsaw activities are communicative. They are more natural. Okay. They can include, it includes social skills. You know, now the trendy soft abilities, then skills like language skills, the hard abilities, a variety of language, yeah, and many more. But disadvantages, one of the problems is if it is not well organized, then it becomes a disaster. If students don't have a specific role, then you will have the same thing as in the past. Some students doing the work and other students playing. And this is more important than ever. So you can send different teams to different breakout rooms to do the tasks, you monitor, but everything has to be well organized. My suggestion is that you write your instructions very clearly, short and concrete instructions, like number 1, put students this, number 2, divide, blah, blah, blah. And that way, maybe you won't have many problems. Every time we try something new, there is something, but we need to start trying. We need to start trying and enjoying what we do. And if it doesn't work, as today's presentation, well, we learned something. And anyway, we enjoyed and we shared something. And if it worked, fantastic. Let's continue. Let's continue doing it in that way, or find ways to do it in a better way. And if it didn't work, okay, let's analyze what not and let's reflect. I have 2 questions for you before I stop, share my screen. What did you learn today? And how do you feel towards the challenge? So let me stop share. Maybe you can write your ideas in the chat. Hopefully you learned something, even to have 2 laptops at the same time. So with Meet, unfortunately, I'm not that familiar with Meet. I use Zoom, and so breakout rooms are not possible. Maybe you can do something. Maybe you can do something in Meet, like give the tasks as homework. So when they come to class, you put them together to organize the project. So it's definitely motivating and engaging. Learners have a real purpose to communicate, though it's time consuming. You do this in 45 minutes. Yes, the first 2 or 3 times you do jigsaw activities, you really need to prepare them. You really need to check them. After the 2 or 3 times, it's like any regular activity in class. It's a great idea to do this, but in my case, I go running because of the book. Okay, because of the book. What can you do with a book? And I'm going to give you an idea with a book, something I used to do with my books. I had, you know, one of those thick books for let's say, native speaker children in the United States, where the readings were like 15, 20 pages long. So I divided the reading into one group of students. And then every student was in charge of reading maybe 2 pages. Then I put them together, okay, to have a summary of the story, like a mental map, a mind map, whatever you were doing. And then each one was in charge of, after reading the 2 pages, had to write a question. And then the students were supposed to answer the questions together. So in less than, let's say, 20 minutes, half an hour, we accomplished that reading that was like 20 pages, and otherwise we would have taken like 1 week reading. Because remember, the reading is not the issue. The skill is the one that matters. It's not for students to read all the lesson, it's to acquire the skill. And that way you cover the material. And it's the same with the exercises. Let's say you have an exercise, or you have 3 exercises. So one exercise with 10 questions divided into 2 groups of 5, or 5 groups of 2, and then give 2 questions per pair, something like that. Then put them together, they solve it. And the idea of the exercise is to give practice, not to be experts on that exercise. So those are ideas that that we can do to complete all the things we have to do the program, but at the same time have something fun. So yes, I continue learning our class management, and it's essential. On the other hand, Jigsaw developed language production and active participation. Yes, and if students are busy, they will give you fewer problems. We have to complete 20 units each semester. Yes, I've been a teacher for 46 years, and I always work in bilingual schools, and I know what it's like. But it's possible. It's a matter of choosing what is important and what the skill, what your main aim is for every unit. The idea is not to do page 1, page 2 to memorize. The idea is to acquire the skills, the language, and to practice and being able to use that language and those skills in real life. But that is another session, how to do unit planning or annual planning, covering everything, but without having to do exercise 1, exercise 2, exercise 3, and still finish the book. So we can adapt, change, and delete pages from the course book. Yes, you can. You can adapt, you can change, but I understand the other side. When parents pay for a very expensive book and they ask you to complete everything, but there are ways to do it, there are ways to adapt it, then you can show the students, look, this is the exercise from the book, but what we did was this, which was more motivating, but we covered, all these 5 pages, which look more boring, with this activity, and we covered everything. And they feel satisfied, and then nobody complains. Because yes, it's risky, especially with a workbook, when you say, we're not going to do this unit, and then students say, so what is the point of buying it? No, there are ways to adapt and change and still work. But as I said before, you don't have to do page 1, 2, 3, exercise 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there are ways of doing things. Any more? Try it. Try it. If it doesn't work, reflect on it. Why didn't it work? And if it worked, continue doing it. Start with something simple, short. Maybe an exercise from the book, maybe a reading from the book. Divide it into different students so that they can put the pieces together, and then they come out with a mind map or a summary of those long readings. It's a good way to start. Any other questions?
I think those might be all the questions from the audience, and Rosa. I think maybe, or does anybody have any more questions, guys, before we let Ana Rosa go? I don't think so. I think that's pretty much everything, right, Ana Rosa?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think so. All right, you guys. So, well, so we would like to thank Ana Rosa, for Monica is saying no more question. Thanks. Absolutely. Right. Fantastic. So before we say goodbye, guys, remember that we're always looking for your feedback, right? We're consistently looking for, we always want to get your feedback on like these talks and presentations that we're providing here today, right? And that we've been providing so far with our round of webinars. So so no, absolutely, Jorge, absolutely, Lena. That's what we do, and we love doing this, right? And we bring these people like Rosa and speakers, that are so well experienced, so that they can give you some ideas, right? So I'm gonna send you here right in the chat. So if you could please, again, just spend a couple of minutes of your time. This is a direct link to a form. Remember that we're always consistently looking out, we're looking for your feedback, looking forward to receiving, your feedback and notes on what you thought of the webinar. Because now we're already planning the second round, of webinars, the webinar series, and we've been getting, some really good ideas, on things that people would like to see. We've been getting an awful lot of ideas on, well, yes, the webinars are fine, but could you give us like a specific how to, like step 1, step 2, step 3, webinars for how to do one specific thing in mind, right? So we've been getting that kind of feedback quite a lot. You got the one that is editable, or is that the one that you probably shouldn't got, maybe you shouldn't have received that one. Let me just, yes, maybe don't use that one. So, okay, maybe I sent the wrong link. Okay, now I think that's the correct link. Thank you for that one, Monica. Thank you for spotting that. So, absolutely. So I've just posted the correct one, not the editable one. Thank you very much for that, Monica. Well spotted. Yeah, that didn't work. Absolutely. Don't worry. So if you could just please share your ideas, your feedback, specifically for the last one. Here we have um, any other language teaching topics that you would like to receive future training on, right? And that will, the last one, exactly, Shamara, the very last one, absolutely. I'm going to put it here again, right? And while you answer that, I'm just going to give you a kind reminder of our contact details, how you can stay in touch with us. So remember that we have our email, in case you want to reach out to us directly, on anything that you'd like to talk about, discuss, future programs, like dates, exactly, whatever, etc. number of courses that we are running. We also have the media room here, where we are consistently posting any updates on events. So I'm also going to post that there in the chat. And as you can see, that's where we put all of our events, consistent communication with our community. And remember that we have also some webinars coming in May. We're going to be talking about digital citizenship. So how to make that accessible to especially young learners. So we'll be talking about that May the 13th, and also May the 27th, how to give your teenage students the chance to do even better, 120, percent of their efforts. And we're going to be talking about gamification, so using games in the classroom, right? That one doesn't work, Victor. Are you sure? Yeah, no, that one works because people are using that one, Victor. I've just received 3, as you can see, 3 answers. So that one works just fine. Absolutely, Victor. Yeah, that works. That one works just fine. So if you could try that one, I'm going to copy paste that again in the chat. Um, If it won't let you write the email, there might be something wrong with the email. So either you change the email address or like typing lower cases, and that should work, right? Okay, and guys, so remember that we have the again, there you go. The first question asks if when to 10 images onto 7. What do you mean? No, that's, yeah, from there we go. It's 1 to, yeah, that's, it seems to be fine from my end. Yeah. So, okay, guys, so thank you. And remember that we also have the YouTube channel. So I'm gonna copy paste the link right here. There we go. And if you want to stay with us, you know, for like other webinars, stay in touch. We could also like, you know, subscribe. I highly recommend that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you click on subscribe, what that means is like every single time that we post a new video, a new webinar, you're going to be getting an automatic notification. You could just subscribe. And this is where we're going to be posting not only these webinars, but so many other webinars that we're running and events. So this is where we post. As you can see, there you go. You know, we are stream live sharing, right? So you can see that we are here. Subscribe. If you just, again, subscribe to the YouTube channel, you see all of the wonderful things that we're posting and we're creating very often, right? So thank you again, guys. And I'm just going to stop so that we could share, so that we could say, sorry, so that we could say goodbye formally to Ana Rosa. Ana Rosa, it was lovely to see you, lovely to hear you, lovely to talk to you again. And I'm pretty sure that everybody benefited from your talk today, Ana Rosa. Thank you very much. And I don't know if you want to say just goodbye, Ana Rosa, from your end to your lovely audience today.
Sure, thank you very much. And again, 1,000 apologies for all the problems. But anyway,
absolutely. No,
it's a learning experience as well.
It was, absolutely. No, but I think you made it work. Absolutely, right? So thank you again, and thank you guys, and stay in touch, okay? So thank you and goodbye, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.